Continuing on with names, social title, and professional titles. You should capitalize titles that are used as part of a person's name. Do not capitalize titles when they appear alone. And so in the first example, I wrote, I had a great professor in college. So professor is appearing by itself. In the second example, and this one is for you, Nick, Harry Potter had a tumultuous relationship with Professor Dumbledore. Professor now is being connected and it's appearing as part of somebody's name. And so both words would be capitalized, Professor and Dumbledore. Capitalize Mrs., Mr., Junior, Senior, and then I wrote out Mr. and Mrs. as well. Do not capitalize Junior or Senior when referring to grade levels. And so the seniors are known for having the most school spirit. I'm referring to the grade of seniors. Sometimes people will have senior appear after their name, especially if they have a son or a son that's named after them. So you're referring to George Washington Sr., not George Washington Jr. When I was little, I always found Mr. Rogers' advice to be reassuring. Mr. Rogers both would be capitalized. Mr. is the title and Rogers is the last name. Family titles. Capitalize family titles that come right before a name. So just like social titles or professional titles, if it's connected to somebody's name, you would capitalize the title. So Eric wishes Uncle Ray would buy him a bike. Uncle is capitalized as well as Ray because it's the person's name. We are going to visit Grandpa Wayne today. Grandpa is capitalized because we're using them together to name somebody. But if I'm just saying I'm going to visit my grandpa today, grandpa would be lowercase. Now, this becomes a little confusing because when you say, when you're using a family title in place of a person's name, then you are capitalizing it because it's becoming that person. Don't tell mom that Lou ate the cookies. I'm referring to a very specific mom. And so mom could come out and we could put somebody's name in there. Don't tell Lucy that Lou ate the cookies. Lucy would be capitalized because it's a name. Mom is being used as a name there. Before I said that if I said we are going to visit my grandpa today, grandpa would be lowercase. But in the next sentence, you'll see I was hoping to visit grandpa today, that grandpa is capitalized. This is because the title is being used in place of a person's name. If I said I was hoping to visit John today, John would be capitalized because of someone's name. And so again, in these two examples, when I'm using the title to replace a name, the title becomes capitalized. So again, just to reiterate that, in the last section, you do not capitalize family titles if they are not used in place of a name. So Anne hoped her mom wouldn't do her crazy dance. So mom is lowercase because it's not taking the place of somebody's name. You wouldn't say Anne hoped her Janice wouldn't do her crazy dance. Or Dave's John, right? So Dave's uncle. So those words are lowercase in those two examples. The basics for titles. You should always capitalize the first and last words of all titles. You are also supposed to capitalize all of the in-between words except for these, and I've listed them for you. So fanboys, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. Those words should not be capitalized. Prepositions should not be capitalized. On, in, of, by, at, to, as, with. Articles, a, and the. So any of these words should remain lowercase, with the exception of if they are the first word in a title. Just as if they are the first word in a sentence, they would be capitalized. If they're the first word in a title, they should also be capitalized, and you'll see that in one of the examples. I read Good Night Moon to my son every night. Good Night Moon, both words should be capitalized. Once I read the first chapter of Lord of the Flies, I couldn't put it down. The, which would be lowercase if it appeared anywhere else in the sentence, and you can see that before flies, is capitalized at the beginning because it's the first word of the title. So the is capitalized, Lord and flies are capitalized.